Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of the Bionicle Inspiration Series podcast. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I've got a cool guest lined up for today. And we're going to do, like we always do, showcase three mocks and chat a little bit to our guest. So today, our guest is Mitch Henry, otherwise known as Cheesy Q. Are you still known as Cheesy Q?
Some parts I usually go as like just my normal name, or sometimes I've shortened it to CZQ.
Suzy Q,
No,
nice.
no, CZ, but yes,
Oh,
Suzy Q like
okay.
the song.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Yeah,
So was that what Cheesy Q was from? Was that song? Or
actually no, Cheesy Q, that name, that came from just like a random thing I blurted out one time at middle school.
nice.
I have no idea what it means.
All right.
Yeah, and I just chose it for my mock page's name because I just for some reason I liked the sound of it when
Yeah,
I was in
cool.
seventh grade.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So for those of you who remember from the mock pages days, this is the Cheesy Q, whose actual name is Mitch Henry. Yeah. What are you up to nowadays? How are you?
How am I? Uh, well, I know I'm doing fine.
Uh-huh.
Well, what am I up to in relation to what? Like mocking, just general?
Yeah, a bit of both.
Well, general. I'm going to college, but
Fantastic.
that's nothing special. Um, Mocking. I'm kind of getting back into mocking. I took a break for a couple of years,
Hmm.
um, but I'm getting back into it and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the community again. There, it's a nice community.
It is, yeah. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. So yeah, I suppose we should just get straight into talking about the mocks that we've got for today. So the first one that we've got is by Molly Ray and is called Brimstone, the Phoenix Paladin. Do you want to share some of your thoughts on this? Because essentially, I guess how this goes, just as a reminder, or just for those who are like, "What the heck is this podcast?" Essentially, this is just like a longer bis, or Bionicle Inspiration series. I don't know if I should call them that because some people will be like, "What's a bis?" But essentially, yeah, it's a longer episode. But I have someone else to talk to, so we can kind of bounce off ideas because everyone builds differently, everyone thinks differently. So in my opinion, it's a really cool idea to get, yeah, sort of contrasting opinions on there because there's a lot to learn from there. And I guess at the end of the day, that's what these episodes are: is to teach you some stuff and inspire you and all that. So. But yeah, sorry. What are
No,
your
that's fine.
thoughts on Brimstone?
No, I needed that little bumper because I didn't have the image pulled up, so I
Uh,
was able to use that time to pull it up. Um, yeah, I'm a professional here.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I like the mock. I think it's interesting. I don't. I think I don't want to start with the negatives, but I do think it's a little cluttered, like
Yeah,
in certain
okay.
areas. But I like the general shape of it. It's very like powerful. It's
Yes.
got a good stature to it. Um, I like the colors. I kind of like how it has like this almost metal corset. I
Mm.
don't know. It's maybe not. Maybe corset's not the right term. I'm not sure what I'm looking for here, but I like the Hordika feet in the torso. It gives a nice uh gives a nice shape in the on the sides, and the wings. I really like those wings.
Oh, yeah.
There's like such a nice texture to those.
Those are from the Chima sets, weren't they? The like CCBS Chima stuff.
I'm not sure. We didn't get those in America.
Yeah, we didn't get them. Where did they even come out? Was it
I
Norway?
think
Am I right in saying that?
I think you're somewhere in Europe, but
Yeah. That's such a shame because there was cool parts in that.
yeah,
Oh,
they have those really
maybe
cool
there's actually.
torsos.
Say again.
They have those really cool torsos that you can put like a Zammersphere in the
Yeah.
chest. I love
Ah,
those.
I need to bricklink some of those now. Now that I think about
I
it.
need
Yeah.
to also.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, though, I think those might have actually just come in regular Chima sets, but they might have also come in that. I need to check. I'll put photos up in post, and you'll see. Oh, I remember when I recorded the first one, I said that like 80 times. I was like, I'll get a photo of that, and then in post, I was like, oh, Ben, don't ever say that again. And then now that I'm doing this, I'm like, oh, put photos up. I've made the same mistake twice. Sorry, go on.
Oh, I mean, other than that, I don't think there's a lot that really jumps out at me. The head is nice, but I don't
Yeah, yeah.
I don't particularly care for the those Hero Factory animal heads.
Oh,
That
that's really interesting because I was going to say the opposite. I like rarely see people use them, and I think they're actually really solid, decent masks. Except they're annoying in terms of a lot of them don't have a bottom like this one.
yeah,
So I think it's cool to actually see them because I don't think people use them enough personally. But yeah, interesting that you don't like them so much.
Yeah, it's just they're just difficult to use with like because their connection point is so odd. It's like they have well they don't have to because this mod obviously doesn't use them, but like they're so designed for the 2.0 heads that Lego
Yes.
only used for two waves. And I don't know, it's not that it's bad because it's difficult to use. I just I don't know. I find them
There are
irritating.
better masks, essentially.
Yeah, they're irritating
Yeah.
to me.
Yes. Yeah, I see what you mean. Are you just bitter that Evo didn't come with one, so it's just that you couldn't have?
No, I think I fell out of Hero Factory around this point. Well, I fell out of mocking around this point.
Yes, right, right. So what do you think was cluttered about it? Because I actually think there's a really nice consistency in terms of, I guess, flow in general with it. Is it kind of around the waist with some of the sort of system parts
Yeah,
there, or
it's some of the textures. Like like the
okay,
torso I think has a good texture with like the
yeah,
it uses a lot of the bigger pieces, but like you've
hmm
got these red pieces that connect the claw looking things on its waist that just kind of jump out at me like they could have just been black or gray or silver. Like there's gray pieces right underneath them. I'm not entirely sure why they're red with transparent. Um,
okay,
the uh, the biceps, I think, like
yes, yeah,
like I get that she's filling in space, but it's a little visually messy. I think.
right. Oh, okay, I guess I see what you mean.
Um,
I quite like that. Like, I like the aesthetic of because it kind of looks like in the bicep area how all the sort of system flames are kind of coming out there. Like, I kind of see similarly to how like Blaziken's like wrists have fire coming out of it, like that, but with the shoulders. Um, But I definitely will admit, like using Lego flame pieces is really difficult on mocks because I don't know, they're one of those parts that really lends itself to being used with system, whereas like Bionicle, I don't know, it's just it's harder.
hmm Yeah, the only like good Bionicle or Hero Factory like flame pieces. You have like Fire Lord. He's got those weird fire pieces, like
Yeah, I know the ones you
and
mean.
they wouldn't. Well, they might look good if they because it matches the wings.
Yeah,
I don't
good point.
know.
But I quite like how the wings have that kind of gradient to them, the red. Like the red is very consistent even when it gets to the wings, but then the tips have that little bit of yellow, so it's kind of like a little like splash of color that transitions really nicely. I think that's really cool.
Oh, I like that too. I like I said, I really like these wings.
Yeah, 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 definitely. And they're quite simple too, actually. Like
Yeah.
using the system there is a really good way to get that. I guess I don't even know what you'd call it, but that way that they sort of like flow out. Yeah, it just looks nice.
And I like the attachment to the mixel sockets. Lets them kind of you can kind of get a lot of cool looking stuff out of that.
Oh yeah, it's funny how like tiny those mixel joints are, but how like strong they are.
Oh yeah, I love them. They're great.
Because
Yeah, I saw that. It
I
looks
use
good.
them for the I don't know if you've seen it, but I made a Iron Man glove that like I can actually wear, and the whole thing is like supported with mixel joints. And the amount of people that come up at conventions when I have it, and they're like, "Whoa, wait, mixel joints hold that up?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, they're really strong."
Yeah, I
But
know.
yeah,
Other people don't share this with me, but I'm a sucker for like little functions like that where you can like kind of move them around, and like I definitely see the form over function appeal, but I like posing them because you can get a lot of character out of like how something's shaped or how something
yes,
stands or how it's not standing. Like it's that those little joints. I love those.
yes, it's interesting because you get your people like Lord Oblivion or Digoxin who they build
Hmm.
amazing stuff. I'm not condemning what they say, but like I've had
Oh
conversations
yeah.
with them before where I've been like, I'm trying to build this thing right now, but I just can't pose it properly, and they're like, so who cares? Like just have it be a statue, it doesn't matter. It's really interesting because like they're phenomenal builders, but they don't care at all about posability. Where other people are like, no, it has to be posable. And it's cool. It's cool
Hmm.
because like there's neither one is right. Like
Oh yeah,
they're both
absolutely.
awesome if you can or can't do it.
I definitely see the
Um,
strengths in both.
yeah, yeah,
But that's a bit of
yeah.
a tangent. Uh, on the mock, I like there's almost a continuation of the wings, kind of on the back, like a sort of like I don't think a waistcoat is the right word. I'm not
Is
sure
it
what you'd call
tail
that.
coat?
Yeah, tails. That's what it is.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah. No,
like
that's
that.
cool.
There's like little tails to this mock. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, especially it kind of just comes out of the butt. Like it's not actually attached to the wings. Which now that I think
Mhm.
about it, that's how bird anatomy works. Never mind. That's clever. I was going to be like, oh, it does not attach to the wings, so like technically it's not autonomically correct, but it looks cool. But then I realized it is. So yeah, that is really awesome. Also, it kind of looks like the way that's connected is through the Exoforce claws in trans orange
Yeah,
there. They're like kind of just sort of shoved in there. That's a cool
I think
connection.
it's held in like by pressure. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
Well, not
yeah,
pressure,
you're
but
probably
yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. One thing I really like is this sort of like waistcoat design on the front with the silver.
Hmm.
Um, I want to say Molly's used that in more than one mock. I'll put it up in post.
Oh,
But also I know that Brendan has as well as in Shadow Gear.
yeah, yeah.
And every time I see it, I'm like, that's such a cool waistcoat design. I really want to use that on a mock.
Hmm.
And I actually really like that. Like some people might complain, being like, "Oh, try out a different technique," but I think that's actually really cool to like recycle techniques if it really works, and it does. Like I
Oh
think
yeah.
that whole stature thing you were talking about, kind of the like kind of guardian fighter aesthetic, that fits this perfectly,
Hmm.
which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as the recycling designs go, I mean, I definitely like you were mentioning Joxon earlier. It's like that guy. I mean, he makes
Yeah,
amazing stuff, and like
yeah,
proof proof positive. Like he uses this one hand design all the time, and I love it to death, and it
hmm,
looks great every time. So there's nothing
yeah,
wrong with
yeah,
reusing some designs if you think you pulled it off well, or stuff
yeah,
like that.
totally, yeah, totally. Um, I was going to try and make a cool transition, but I got nothing. The sword that that Brimstone has, using the Knight's Kingdom part there, I think that's really cool because like they've added the hilt to that as well. Um, and so then the sword on the end of that, that's like a really cool sort of addition to that part instead of just simply having her hold
Hmm.
a just the Knight's Kingdom sword. I think that's a really sick sword design.
Yeah, I like I like the way he's kind of like resting on it, where he's like, well, it's not really resting, but the way he's holding it,
Yes.
it's not very aggressive, but it's still powerful.
Yeah.
Like he's just
I
kind of holding it in place, like very firmly. I don't know. There's something really powerful about that way he's holding
no, I
it.
know what you Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it how you were saying before with like posability, how that adds a lot of like personality to a mock.
Hmm.
I think there's definitely a level of making a mock look better when you're able to pose it really nicely, or you put it in really cool poses when you photograph it.
Hmm.
Because sometimes I see people post mocks and they don't really like care about posing, and like it kind of looks like they're, I don't know, doing some weird voodoo dance, and like their head's 90 degrees and like one arm is up and they're like, here's my new mock, and it's kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. And I don't know, I always find that if you kind of pose a mock that kind of fits the personality that it looks like it has or that it does have as a character,
Hmm.
um it actually makes the mock look better even though you've technically done nothing.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I totally think there's a lot of power in that. I think it's really cool.
Hmm. So I guess my just general thoughts on the thing is that I like it. I think it's pretty good, but I think there's just some textural inconsistencies that I mean just maybe get those ironed out, and I think this would be a lot better.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, awesome. But also that said, I really like the sort of wholeness and overall, like, I don't know the word, but like everything flows nicely together and is really like compact. Like the torso, there's no gaps
Yeah. Oh,
and it just
yeah. I
looks
agree.
so cool. Yeah.
I hate me some gaps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, great job, Molly. Next mark. Do we want to do your mark?
Sure, if you want.
Yeah, cool. So this next mark is by Mitch Henry, whoever that guy is, and it's named.
Yeah.
Well, no, why
Who's
don't
that loser?
wait? Why don't you talk about it? It is your mark.
Why don't I talk about it? Okay.
Yeah.
Um. Well. Oh, I don't even know where to start. Okay. So this mock, I guess. Well, why don't I say its name? Its title is Exterminator, and you can guess where that name came from. Um. So when I started this mock, it actually started with the legs because I was playing a lot of Overwatch at the time,
Mhm,
and I was playing character Lucio,
mhm.
and he's got these big like uh, sort of robotic pants. And they're not really prosthetic limbs, but I liked the look of them, and I thought they had this nice, cool design, and I kind of wanted to emulate that.
Yeah,
So I built these really technicky, really uh, silver, like mechanical looking legs,
cool.
and then that's why he has the Onua chainsaws on his feet. I kind of wanted to emulate those skates.
Yeah, nice
Um,
idea.
so that's how the mock began, and then it just kind of slowly developed from there. the gun in the torso was pulled from a show that I like, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh,
If you've ever
sweet.
heard of it,
No, I haven't, but
yeah.
awesome.
It's a fascinating show. It's very odd, but
Okay,
the one character, his torso has this big cannon and this big machine gun. So
sweet.
I thought that'd be kind of fun to adapt. And then the weapon, I think actually, I changed my mind. I think the weapon was built first, but it wasn't built for any one mock in particular. I just kind of had it laying around,
Yes, cool.
and I thought it would fit the design of this guy. And then the last thing is the torso.
Mm.
Each arm has a gear function that if you push or pull the levers, it can move each arm individually, kind of like the old Knights Kingdom
Oh,
torsos.
sweet.
Yeah, and that I got from I think his name is Ben. He was Kronos Omega,
Yeah.
Unlock Pages, Crow. I don't know. He's got a bunch of different names. He doesn't post enough.
He doesn't post enough. No, I've put him on a few episodes. He actually he favorited one of my photos this morning, so it's like, I see you. You're still
Oh,
alive. So
yeah, he's still alive. Good,
yeah,
good. He's a good gun
yeah.
out there.
Almost
But
everyone I have on this show is like, oh, Kronos Omega's the best builder in the world. He's hell good.
he's good.
Yeah, yeah,
But
definitely.
so I got that the idea of the individual functions. I wanted to emulate that when he did that with the Pohatu mock that he made,
Cool. Yep.
and he did it a lot better than I did, I think. But I tried. And then I just kind of slapped the skull head on because it looks cool.
Yeah, it fits very well. I think um, I think there's I don't maybe you can word it better than me, but I think just sort of the overall like textures and kind of where the holes are on the skull mask kind of fit the overall textures and shapes of the and where the holes are on all the other different parts on him. So it actually there's a really nice sense of flow in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's
Thanks.
really cool. Awesome that you said that the gun was just kind of lying around. Like, I think that's really cool how, just kind of building something because you were inspired by a show or just because it was fun or whatever. And then when you built the legs or you built another part and kind of being like, oh, actually, that works really well. So it's cool how just having stuff lying around actually informed this mock and helped it grow and generate ideas and stuff. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was a product of like a couple months just because I was trying to get back into the hobby and I
Yeah.
hadn't done it for a while, so it was kind of slow getting back into it, but just slowly he came together and I thought, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I find it really interesting what you're saying about Overwatch because I posted an episode on guns not too long ago on
Oh
YouTube,
yeah. Yeah, I've
and
been meaning to get around to that one.
yeah, I think it's a good one, so I recommend it.
Yeah. Well, I like me
Not
some
plugging
guns.
my own stuff. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And there's like three in this mock, well, two, but yeah. Um, and like three people commented because one of the mocks looked like I think Widowmaker from Overwatch. I don't play Overwatch, so
Oh, is it,
forgive me, but
it's Jockson's mock, isn't it?
yes, it was.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and like everyone's like, "Oh my god, it looks like Overwatch." And then when Brendan made a newer version of Shadow,
Hmm.
sorry, everyone's like, "Oh, it looks like Reaper from Overwatch." I feel like
Yeah.
Overwatch is this like god tier game that everyone gets inspiration from these days. It's like, wow, I really, really need to play this. But I think it's really cool that it's inspiring so many mocks. That's really awesome.
The thing about Overwatch, I mean, and I think it's a fun game, but the
Mm.
I think because it has that sort of futuristic vibe, that kind of tech, that's like a lot of technology that's like in the character designs and in the world that like surrounds all these characters. It's a lot
Yeah.
easier for like Bionicle and like just for consistency, I'll call them large figure builders because that's what Bricklane calls
Yes.
them. So like a lot of large figure mocks, have that kind of robot look. So I think it's easy for Construction, CCBS, Bionicle, whatever, to kind of pull from that. And then with system,
Totally.
Overwatch has like a lot of bright colors, and that translates perfectly into Legos. So you can get these kind of cool like with the large figures, you can get these kind of cool designs and these cool shapes and these cool like mechanical looking things. And with the system, you get all the colors and all the, like, you can capture the world really easily. So I think that, and it's just got like that Blizzard polish on it that everyone loves. So
Yes, you're right. It definitely does. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I agree with you there. Interesting how, and like I think Elves is the perfect example of it. I'm so hyped for the next Elves sets because of it. with colors and stuff because it sucks how little we get of colors these days in CCBS sets. Like
Oh
when
yeah, I
the
know.
freaking is it Praetorian? I don't know how to pronounce it, but the
Oh
red
yeah, the Elite Praetorian
guard
Guard.
that one when that came out, everyone's like, oh my god, red! Like
Yeah, I
10
know.
years ago, people would be like, so it's red. Like who
Yeah,
cares? Like
yeah.
yeah,
Those shoulders. I want those. I
right.
want those in more colors.
Yes, yes, I do too. I won't show photos because haha, not editing. Because I feel like people have done that before, and then Disney's like, "How dare you?" and takes the channel down. But there's been some rumors of CCBS sets coming out next year, and there's one that there is a photo of it, but it looks super fake. But I'm praying.
I,
It looks like we're gonna get a super battle droid as a
yeah, I've seen them. I think it's. I saw them like once, and like you said, they were blurry. I think it was
yeah.
Super Battle Droid and a. I don't know my Star Wars names. ATST.
Yes, it kind of looked like some sort of speeder bike. It was blue, wasn't it?
I thought it was like one of the walking things.
It might have been.
I think it was a trooper with a
Yeah.
walking mech.
Yes, whatever it was that.
Yeah.
And yeah, which that's cool. Hopefully, it's not like $70, but
Oh, hope. Yeah, you hope, but it will be.
yeah, it probably will be. Um, at least if we're getting a super battle droid, that could mean grey, but they're kind of like a dark blue, and the minifigures are like a metallic blue.
Hmm.
So maybe that'd be a really cool color
Oh
to
man, I'd
get.
love to get metallic blue
Uh,
back. Could use some of those Knights Kingdom armor pieces again.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we just got teal back, so maybe
Oh, I know. Yeah, finally.
maybe we'll get that. Be good. Yeah.
Hmm.
Slight tangent there, but worth it
Hmm.
because man, I want some dark blue. And if you're like, Ben, I wish you included those photos, just Google Lego leaks on Instagram or on just Google it, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Um anyway, I really like the gun design. Really on as in not the torso, the actual like
Right.
handheld gun.
Right.
Um it reminded me of Star-Lord, but that's just because I'm a Marvel fan.
Okay.
Um uh but it's a really simple but awesome design. I really like it.
Yeah, thanks. I
Yeah.
I think I was just slapping pieces together and then just kind of happened. Although it's
Yes, yeah.
annoying because it uses one of my very few 9 length axles, and that bugs me
Uh,
because I like
yeah.
those and I want to save them for when I really need them.
Yes, right. Yeah, interesting. What was I going to say? Oh, the function that he has on his shoulders. There's
Yeah.
not enough mocks with functions these days. That's really cool. Did you kind of get inspired from the CCBS functions, or was that your own design?
Um, it was sort of my own design, kind of
Sweet.
pulled from the Skull Grinder, which is the only G2 set I have.
Oh, right.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, but it like I said, I think it mainly came from Ben's Pohatu mock. I just thought it's like what you just said. Like, there's not a lot of mocks with functions, and
Yes.
like the idea for this character is that he's like very, very heavily mechanical. So I thought it would make sense that this mock of any mock should have some kind of function. And
That's cool.
I'm a sucker for functions. My favorite Bionicles are the 2001 to 2004. So
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. That's cool. Um, yeah, man. I think it's a great mock. Do you have anything else you want to say about it? Or
um, well, I can tell you right now, it's not together. Um,
ah,
I'm gonna go back to it. I have a second version of it, although
cool.
I think this one might be better than the second one.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
but that's gonna go up sometime in 2018.
Ooh, exciting. Hype.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That said, this might come up in 2018. We only got like a few days left,
Yeah.
so. Oh no, I'm dating the content. No,
Uh,
but yeah. Same color scheme.
um, there's a slight difference. It's mainly silver and black, although I changed
Okay.
the translucent color.
Ah, cool. Okay, that'll look
Hmm.
good. What do you think of Because there's some people who are firmly against just kind of like mono colors or not having a really like bright extra color in there. And I mean, I think it really suits the mock. It fits the exterminator thing you were talking about.
Hmm.
Um, so I have no qualms with it just being essentially purely grey with a little bit of black. But I know there'd be some people who'd be like, "Oh, it's too grey and black is so boring." What do you think of that?
Oh yeah, I got. Well, I definitely got a comment that said like it was entirely grayscale and they weren't a fan, but it's hard to say. I really like silver and black. I really like that. I just like
Yeah,
robots, so like it's cool. That look is
yeah,
cool to me for some reason. It's a little plain, but I think it looks
totally.
good. But it's also another thing that I'm not quite haven't quite mastered color blocking
Okay.
yet and layering, so it's nice to just kind of work with silver and black, which is it's very
Mm,
simple. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I can definitely see that like people might think it's
right.
boring.
Yeah.
You have someone like Primus, Cam, whatever you want to call him, and no, not Primus. Lord
Yes.
Oblivion, Tony. You have like no, I'm an idiot. You have to forgive me. It is
Oh yeah. Yep.
Cam. I'm an idiot. Cam. A lot of his mocks are just plain
Uh huh.
black. So and like no one really gets upset that his mocks are just black.
Yeah. Interesting.
So and there's nothing wrong with his mock.
Mm,
I like his mocks. They're
mm.
really great, but like I don't think there's anything. What I'm trying to say is I don't think there's anything wrong with having like sort of a monochrome or a grayscale mock, as long as it looks good.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on the notion of color blocking being way easier when you use like simple colors like black and gray and stuff, though.
Hmm.
Um, because I think like looking at my shelf now, there's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven mocks that are black, or at least have black as a primary color in it.
Hmm.
Um, Simply because of that, because I'm just like, I'll just use that.
Hmm.
Um, but that said, it is a really fun challenge to just exclusively use rarer colors because black obviously comes with a lot of piece options.
Hmm.
Like for example, when I made Shuck Up my purple mock, that everyone
Yeah.
is like, "Oh my god, it's Shockwave Transformers!" And it's like, yes, this good job, yay. Um, that was really fun because I just exclusively used purple and like a couple black pieces because otherwise I couldn't have built it.
Yeah.
Um,
You mean the one where
uh,
everyone went, "Oh, why did Ben buy all the purple on Bricklink?"
Yeah. I had like three people say that, and like most of them genuinely were like, "Screw you! How dare you!" Yeah, but that is a fun challenge to do that. But I don't know where I was going with that. Maybe I was just showing off. Maybe. But yeah, awesome mock guy. Uh,
No, thank you.
yeah. Let's move on to the next one. So essentially, when I started the episode, I said to Mitch, "Are you Mitch or Mitchell?"
Well, actually, my full name is Mitchell, but I prefer Mitch.
Okay. So I said to Mitch, I've picked a mock. Uh, and then I asked you to pick a mock of your own, and then a mock that someone else made that we would talk about. So this is the mock that you picked that isn't yours. And so it's by Rock Monster 2000 and it's called Seaside Shaman. Do you want to talk about it since it's yours?
Yeah. Sure. So this was made for the 2017 Bio Cup, which I was a
Sweet.
judge. Um,
Yeah.
and let's see, which round was this? This was round three, and
Wow.
in round three, we decided that the contestants would, once we paired them up, they would have to pick their own theme, um, as sort of a challenge to them of like, hey, you got to pick your own theme, but you got to do it quick so that you have enough time to build it. But you also don't want to decide too quickly that it might give your opponent the upper hand and they might build something that they're better at than you're building at, right?
Uh,
So there was kind of like a
yeah,
extra layer to the challenge.
that's cool.
Um, so Rock Monster, and I think his opponent was Sparky Dylan.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, it was. They decided on tribal.
Cool.
So yeah, I love that. Well, I mean, Bionicle was like based on tribal stuff, so it's cool to see
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
It's cool to see Bionicle actually go back to that. But
Yes, totally.
so this was Rock Monster's entry, and this guy just came right out of the blue with like this contest. I'd never heard of him, and he just killed it. I thought it was awesome.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
he didn't end up making it past round three with this mock, but I really liked
Yeah,
it. I voted for it, and I'm not really talking about it. I'm just kind of talking about the history of it. So
that's cool.
in the description of it, he said it was based on the decorator crab. Just kind of this really funky looking creature. It looks like it like picks up stuff off like coral reefs and off the ocean floor and like sticks it to itself.
Yeah, it does look like that. I'll
Yeah.
put a picture up. So,
Hmm.
yeah, cool.
So it looks like he's tried to incorporate that into the actual mock. And with the description, it's a crab shaman dressed in a seaweed skirt and coral headdress. He spends his days wandering the beach and collecting stray objects and flotsam.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
I love this mock. It's so small, but it's so like packed with character. I love these
Yeah,
little like I like the little crab pieces like hanging on him like it's just like creatures that are just kind of living on his head or on his
yeah,
anchor or
yeah.
like he's picked up like the wheel of a ship and
Uh huh.
he's wearing a cannon, he's wearing a seashell like he's got this big crab claw on his one hand. It's just such a cool like deviation on tribal. Like he's picked tribal,
Yes,
but
it
he's
is.
also picked a second theme to go with it, with this like ocean theme.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
totally.
and like on the back he's got like this big Knights Kingdom spike armor, like it's almost got like a crab's shell exoskeleton, whatever they have.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I love this mock. I feel like I should have something to say like I think it could do this better, but I just don't have anything. I love it,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so
and
cool.
he hasn't
Um,
posted anything since, and I wish he would because he just made such good mocks for this competition.
maybe we need another biocop.
Hmm. Wow.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say like I love the little white Baraki eyes there for like barnacles and like the system foliage stuff there like that. Yeah, that looks so cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, like you said, just how a small mock can have so much detail in it, but not be too cluttered as well. I think that's
Hmm.
awesome. And also it because how you were saying that tribal stuff is very Bionicle-y. Um,
Yeah.
even that concept of I just how you read the story that's in the description there, that makes the mock so much cooler that it has such an awesome story to it and like justification for each individual bit on him. And that in itself is very Bionicle as well. I feel like that's so cool.
That's something I really like about like making these little characters is like, people, especially like during mock pages days, people would write like these 10-page stories, and it's just like you,
Yeah.
you kind of get lost in that. And there's nothing wrong with writing stories for your mocks, but I think like the short, like less is more, right? This story is
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
little. He has like two sentences about this, but it just tells so much.
It
Like
does.
it leaves
Mm,
enough up to the imagination, but like you can see all the details that were given in the story on the mock, and you just kind of can like fill in the blanks. It's
yeah,
I
totally.
love when people do that. I think the only
Mm.
thing I think maybe the only thing I don't like about this mock is that it took me a little while to notice the eyes that were
Oh, I
kind of
see.
sitting on the side. Like I
Uh-huh.
like how they're built. It's very crab-like, but it
Yeah.
did take me a little bit. I think the head is just a touch cluttered, which may be why his opponent won out because his opponent's very very simple, very elegant and clean.
Uh-huh.
But I thought this was such a great deviation on tribal, such a great
Right.
like he had the theme and then he had almost a sub theme to go with it. And I just sorry, I
Yeah,
could eat,
that's cool.
I love this mock.
That's all right. Yeah, maybe changing the eye color might have been cool because I
Mm.
mean it's cool that it's like consistent in color throughout, like all the dark red. But I don't know, maybe like green or blue eyes might still work.
Yeah, I think green probably would have looked really good. Kind of
You're
let
right.
him make him pop. Although, let me check the decorator crab image he used. Yeah, like it's got like white, like cream colored eyes. That would probably be hard to
Yeah,
translate into Lego.
yeah, that's true. Especially because he's kind of used them already as like the barnacle bits on the side there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, good point. I really like with what you were saying about like less is more with the description. I like how it's on one of the photos on the back. It kind of looks like there's kind of like a drum or something on his belt, and then he's also got a similar thing like that on his staff.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I kind of don't know what that is, but I kind of like that. It's also like the pattern on the ship wheel there. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
because there wasn't enough said, it makes me want to make a story out of that. Which again, it's that thing I was saying before about how photos and the way you take
Mm-hmm.
them and the things you add creates a story and then kind of improves the mock in a way.
Yeah.
It's like how antiques sell better if they have a story behind it. It's like a mock looks better if it has a story behind it.
I love this mock, man. It's fantastic. This is one of my favorite entries in the competition.
Definitely. What because obviously you were saying you were a judge for the Bio Cup. What was that like?
Oh, what was it like? Well, it was a little hectic because uh, it happened right after Brick Fair, Virginia, which is in August, and this is when everyone's going back to university. Everyone's going back to college and high school, what have you.
Yeah.
So we couldn't get all the entrants that we probably could have because people were busy. Um, but as far as actual like contestants and competition goes, it had a pretty good what do you call it? It had a really really low dropout rate. I think there was only one dropout on every round, which I mean you look at competitions and sometimes they can have a lot more than that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean we were getting like consistently great mocks. I was shocked at what we were getting.
Awesome.
Just you just look at the group and you just see all these amazing mocks. I'm not really. I don't feel qualified to talk about competition because this is the first one I ever judged. So it's difficult to talk about. But uh, huge huge thanks to Marco Cesium, whatever you want to call him.
Mhm.
He really helped me out during that whole thing. That competition wouldn't have happened without him.
That's so cool. Awesome. Has there been one every year then? Because I feel like I remember when it was announced that it was happening and everyone was like, "Oh, cool, join the Bio Cup." I felt like we
Um,
hadn't had any for a few years. Is that right? Or am I thinking
yeah,
wrong?
I think 2013 was the last one,
Oh
and
wow.
then I was checking mock pages, and it just wasn't happening afterwards.
Yeah.
No, maybe 2014. It was one of those 2 years. I can't remember for sure.
Okay.
Um, but it just wasn't happening anymore. It's like, well, I want to do a competition, but I don't really know how to do it, so I just kind
Yeah.
of stole the name for BioCup and moved it over to Flickr, and we had it up and
Ah,
running. So
sweet.
yeah, since we pretty much just imported all the rules from the mock pages and just updated them to fit Flickr.
Mm.
But
I didn't realize that was the case. That's awesome. Really good that you did that. That's so cool.
yeah, oh, I loved it. I was because after Brickfair, it was just like, man, I love this community and I want to see some really great stuff out of it, and there is great stuff out of it. But I,
Yeah.
for some reason, I was just in kind of a lull. Like it's like, man, I feel like there's just not a lot of really great Bionicle mocks coming out, and it's just this competition just blew me away. We got some great stuff, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. After Brickfair, Virginia, I just I don't know. There was just a part of me. I thought, man, we're just not. I just felt like I wasn't seeing a lot of really great stuff like out of the community, and I mean there was, but like I just felt like there could have been more, and I just wanted to see more, and I kind of wanted to run my own contest, see how it would go, what we would get out of it, and so I kind of proposed the idea like, hey, you guys want to do this? I don't know, and the results were like an overwhelming yes. So uh, it started up at kind of an inopportune time for a lot of people, like I said, but uh, we got probably some of the best mocks of the year out of it. I mean, you have Rock Monster, who I thought just like, where did this guy come from? And he did amazing. Anthony Wilson killed it. Vlad just, oh my goodness. I mean, he won for a reason. I mean, even in the first rounds, there was some great stuff. I met a lot of cool people doing it, so it. I'm very glad it happened, and I'm really looking forward to the next one.
Yeah. Awesome. Because what you were saying about like just heaps of amazing mocks coming out. Like I remember when it was happening, and I think it was like the Rahi round,
Hmm.
and just seeing like so many really good Bionicle mocks popping up.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was a really nice time because it's like you were saying, there were people I'd never heard of who were building amazing things, and people who hadn't posted in ages now building really cool stuff. And it's like, cool. It's like it's like back when we were on really active on mock pages, and mock pages was alive.
Yeah.
Um, and people would just post daily and post
Oh, I
amazing
know.
things daily, and there'd be so much happening all the
Hmm.
time. Yeah, that was a
And
good time.
and when the Batcave was active,
Oh, the Bat Cave! I still post in the Flickr group for
I didn't even
that.
know there was a Flickr group. You should shoot me an invite.
Yeah. Yes, I will. And I post in the mock pages one, but no one. I'm like the past like 20 things posted in there are all me. So
Nice.
yeah. I did speak to Cody G, by the way.
Oh, you did.
He's still in college, but I messaged him because we combined our storylines,
Right.
and I built a few more, and I was like, hey, I built these guys. I don't know if you still remember them or if you want to see them, but just remember when we were writing stories for this. And
Hmm.
then he messaged me like a month later and was like, "Oh, that's so cool, man." He's like, "Yeah, no, I'm still in college." He's like, "I have to get back into mocking, but like I'm moving house at the moment or whatever." And
Hmm.
yeah, so I think he wants to get back in, but it probably won't be for a while just because of life.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I remember
yeah,
reading his stories and just thinking like, this is how Bionicle stories should be written.
that's
Like I
cool.
was just like floored by those. It's like the
Oh
only
wow,
time
awesome.
you could just I could just sit down and read like paragraph after paragraph and just like about a Bionicle and just be so invested in it.
Yes, yes, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, he actually he was a very good writer.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought he should be an author.
Because I always find that like some people will post like you said before, people will post like 10 pages of stories, and part of me is like, I feel like I have to read this, and like going like a paragraph in and just being like, I don't, I'm sorry, like I appreciate your mock and I'm sure it has a great story, but I don't want to read it.
Hmm.
Yeah, but no, it's always good when someone's amazing at writing.
Hmm.
Um, I suppose that's it for the Seaside Shaman.
Yeah.
Let's get into some of those questions that I have prepared.
Yeah.
So essentially, these are just the questions that I asked in the last two.
Right.
Um, they might be slightly different. I don't remember, but um, yeah. So question one. Talk to me about your like mocking style and your processes. So how do you kind of go from generating an idea into like the final product?
All right. So typically, when I start a mock, it's usually like I'll see something, like be it in a video game, a movie, or read something in a book, or like see another thing built by someone else, and I'll see that and I'll go, I like that idea, and I want to build it myself, and I want to put kind of a twist on it. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to kind of adapt it somehow, and most of my mocks start from that. Like I was saying with Exterminator, with that, like I said, it started with like the first thing was the little handgun, and then I kind of built those legs, and I thought, okay, these legs look good, and then I built the torso. I was like, I like the torso, and just all those different things just kind of came together. Um, so yeah, it's usually just me just kind of wanting to adapt something into Legos, and then kind of making it up from there. Um, although more recently, I've done a couple more mocks where it's like just throwing pieces together and seeing what I'm getting. Uh, I got some good mocks out of that, but usually I prefer the ones where it's like I want to make this out of Legos.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Yeah, no, yeah. I think
Yeah,
I'll edit that
where do we
real
go
quick.
from
Hold on.
here?
Yeah, where do we go from here? No, that's really cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I always like asking that just because of everyone always has a different answer, and I hope that maybe people can learn something from that.
Mhm.
Um, on what you were saying about like being inspired by something, what other than Overwatch, what specific media content or other things in general, like I don't know, you might be just walking down the street. What sort of things give you ideas? What sort of stuff actually inspires you when you're building?
First and foremost, video games. I
Yes, cool,
I play way too many video games, too much.
awesome.
But
Uh huh.
usually it's those that gives me my ideas. Like a lot of shooters, a lot of mainly those because it translates pretty well into Bionicle. But like with my self mock Zarin, Cheesy, whatever you want to call him, um,
Hmm.
he's really combined a lot of like science fiction, like space marines or bounty hunters or like all these different like power armor wearing characters. Um,
Cool.
like you have Spartans, the Halo Spartans, Samus, some Destiny thrown in there, a little bit of Doom guy. Um,
Yeah, I
so
can see that.
hmm
That's awesome.
yeah, I recently built a mock that was kind of based off of a machine from Metal Gear Solid 5. Um,
Okay, cool.
yeah, I've been really getting into Metal Gear recently, so it's kind of working its way into my mocks very slowly. Um,
Awesome.
but that's usually where I pull stuff from. Very rarely does it come from anything else. But one of my most recent mocks is like just a one-to-one adaptation of a video game character, and I thought it turned out really well.
Sweet.
So,
That'd be awesome. Looking forward to
hmm
it. What are your top five video games then? This isn't a question. I
my
just
top
to
five.
branch off.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, number one, Metroid Prime. That
Yeah.
I
Cool.
love that one. I never get tired of it. Although I have never beaten it 100%. Um,
All right.
yeah, so I got to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
I like Metroid Prime. I like. I don't know if it's Ico or Eco.
Okay.
That's a really good one. I highly recommend that to anyone. Um,
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. That's a classic.
Cool.
Doom, the new one. I haven't really played much of the old ones.
Okay.
Fifth, okay. That's the hard one. These aren't
Yeah.
really in any particular order except for Metroid Prime, but
Yes. Cool.
um, I guess Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I'm a big fan of tournament
Oh, cool.
fighters, and that one I think
Yeah.
really really captured me the most.
Okay. Cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay. No, but that's really cool. So is what did you say his name was? Because I always just refer to him as Cheesy Q just because of nostalgia. But how do you pronounce your self-box name?
Oh, Zarin. I just kind of
Zarin.
pulled it just
Yeah.
on the spot. I didn't like Chizuku as a name because it kind of I've always taken the character very seriously, and it's a very silly
Yeah.
name, it's a very silly title.
Right.
So I mean, if people want to call him that, you can call him that. That's fine. That's what he's known as most widely, and it's just me, just like, no, I'm not a kid anymore. Don't call him that. But um, if you want to
No,
call
I
him,
see what
go
you mean.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. It's more that I'm so used to saying that I didn't remember the new
No,
name.
that's
But
fine.
so he's based very. I know you said he was based off a whole bunch of stuff, but the original versions were they mainly based off of Metroid?
No, actually, Samus didn't come into it until the most recent version. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
the original version, version one, um, obviously, that one
Hmm.
only existed because when I started on mock pages, I was looking around at all the Bionicle stuff and was like seeing this thing like a self mock. Like, I don't know what this is, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then at the time, I was like, well, I guess I'll make one, and my name is Cheesy Q, and Hero Factory 2.0 just came out with this cool yellow set, so I guess that only makes sense. And
Yeah.
I have three Kitongus, so I have enough orange, Kitorange, and yellow to make it. So
Sweet.
so I just built one a mock that was based on the first mock I posted on mock pages. Just gave it a new
Cool.
name, new colors, some new stuff, and a rifle that my cousin built. Um,
I remember that. Yes.
yeah, in about like 5 seconds. But I
Awesome.
slapped all that together, threw it on mock pages, and somehow it stuck. A lot of people really liked them.
That's so cool.
I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
I I feel like the only reason people really liked him was because it was yellow, and that was
Oh, really interesting.
well because it's just at the time that was like what 2011. That was not a color you saw on Bionicle mocks very often.
Yeah, it wasn't. You're right.
So
Dude, I recorded an episode of Binding Submission Series yesterday, which will probably be up before this. And I literally said in that episode, I'm like, do people even build in yellow anymore?
oh
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
No one,
Well,
no one does.
well,
Yeah.
with Hero Factory reintroducing it to like CCBS, yellow has become a lot more common these days.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose you're right, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And like Lego's been making the yellow axles, which thank God. So
Yeah.
uh, yellow's coming back, and I'm really happy to see it.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Didn't when you first I don't know if it was the first time you posted him, but didn't you include instructions for the custom torso that he had?
Um, Not in the post, but I did include them.
Yeah. So that was so it was on a separate post, but that was on the first version, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yes, right. Because I remember when that came out, like, because that was one of the times when people were just like, if it's not custom, it sucks.
The Dark Days.
And yeah, and I remember because you posted that, I remember being like, "Oh, I really want to build this now because like, what an awesome custom torso design!" And he shows me how, so like, sweet, I'm gonna have a look. So I reckon, because he was saying you reckon it stuck because it was yellow. I reckon it stuck because you showed people
Hmm,
how it was done,
interesting. Yeah.
which is cool. But also, I remember just seeing it, and just being like, "Oh, this is really cool." Like he looks super, like he's always had a sense of, like you said, the kind of like video game Spartan, all the different
Yeah.
words, like that kind
Well,
of
I
character.
remember in
Um,
your video with Caleb when you were doing those, seems like years ago. Um,
yeah, it was.
you in the first episode, I had just come out with like I want to say version 5 or 6, and I was going around mock pages just like begging people practically to tell me what they thought of it. And so on episode
Uh-huh.
1, you included it, and like I still remember to this day, you said like he's gone for like very much of a soldier look. And it's like when you said that, like, yeah, I didn't mean for that, but you're right. It looks like a soldier. I'm going for that. And
Sweet.
you said that he should have a backpack, and I've tried, and I don't know how. I'm not good enough yet for that, but maybe someday we'll see.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow, I'd forgotten about that, but I remember saying that now that now that you say that.
Yeah,
Wow. Ah, wow, that's so cool. Um, because I remember when because Shadowgear also made you as a self mod, didn't he?
yeah, he did make me that one time. I was
Yeah,
honored
yeah,
that
yeah.
day. I
I
told him
remember
that
that
at
too.
Book Fair. I was like, Because I just went to Brickfur for one day. I was just walking around and I didn't tell anyone who I was because like I'm not gonna make a big deal.
Right.
But I told Brendan. It's like
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to thank him like that like made my day when I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, actually. I remember when he started that and he's like, I'm just making all the self marks of like people I really like and who I think are, going to build some really cool stuff the older they get. And they already do build really cool stuff. And I don't remember who he started with, but he was slowly doing it. And every post he would do like a teaser.
Hmm.
And at the time, I had a friend in Perth who I'd gotten into Bionicle, and I remember him calling me up one day. Like I was still asleep, so like he called me up, and I was like, "What? What do you want?" And he was like, "Dude, Galaxus is next. Brandon's building Galaxus next." And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." And then like same thing happened, and he's like, "He's building you next. He's totally building you next." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And like, yeah, it was the coolest
Hmm.
thing. I remember just being so hyped because I think he released it like one every week or something,
Hmm.
and it was just being like, "Who's Shadowgoo gonna build? Oh my god!" And then he built you, and it was like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" And like each one, it was like, "This is the best thing
Hmm.
ever." And then I remember Phosphorus commenting on, "Oh my god, it's so nice to talk about mock pages." I'm sure like half of the viewers would be like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?" But we're
Yeah,
geeking out over the
being
past.
nostalgic.
Um, I remember Phosphorus being like, "Oh my god, Brandon!"
Don't
Like,
mind us old men.
so say again.
Don't mind us old men.
Yes, exactly. Um, yeah, Phosphorus commented on his when Brendan built Turf Phosphorus, and he was like, "This is insane! Like, I, I need to change my Phosphorus to fit this because what you've built is like essentially what I want." And then all of the future
Hmm.
versions of Phosphorus were like heavily inspired by what Brendan had done, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Wow, that's so cool! Um, how much uh, he was able to influence people in that regard, but in a positive
Hmm.
and really awesome way. Like it made so many people's mocks like better,
Hmm.
which is really cool.
And I definitely agree that the last version of Phosphorus was by far the best.
Oh yeah,
Um, that's something I don't miss a lot from mock pages, but that is something I miss. People building other people's mocks, people adapting other people's mocks.
yeah,
I thought that was such a nice touch.
yes, it
Like
was.
there was
Yeah,
just something cool. Like there's something about the community of it. Like
mm.
during those days, like just seeing someone else's mock and going, I like that. I want to build my own version of that with my own pieces, and it's gonna
Yes,
look totally different, but like it won't matter because like it's that character, and even if it's just that character in name, it's like they still took the time to like say, I appreciate that mock. I want to make it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is really nice. I remember one
Hmm.
time someone built uh one of my other mocks called Zethlin. Um,
Uh huh.
and they commented and they're like, "Can I build Zethlin?" And like heaps of people would comment on my stuff and be like, "Can I build this or that or whatever?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." And I wouldn't see anything, and so I was kind of like, "Yeah, yeah, totally build it if you want." And then like a month later, he sent me a link. He's like, "Oh, I built this mock," and I was like, "Oh my god, you built a mock that wasn't Cossy? Like that's the coolest thing ever." Because like if someone ever built something, it would be your self mock. And I was like,
Hmm.
"Wow, you built." Another one of my mocks. I was like, "Wow, that's so cool." Yeah, I agree with you. Like it was very humbling, but yeah, really like was a really cool like strength way to strengthen the community in some fashion. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it was really cool that. Yeah, man, I hope that like in the way that you brought back the Bio Cup and like kept the community alive. I hope that us talking about this, people are like, I'm gonna build Jeff's mock. Yeah, good old Jeff.
Oh, good old Jeff.
Yeah,
He makes the best mocks.
he does, right?
I think he's gonna
Um,
win the next cup.
I I hope that someone just makes an account called Jeff and like it's like Dylan or something like it's someone who already exists but they just post under that title now. Um, speaking of mocks, question number 3. We got on a tangent there, but that was a good tangent.
Hmm.
Um, what's the best part to mock with, in your opinion?
Oh boy. You told me you, you you told me that these questions were coming up, and I came up with a couple because there's so many I like. But
Good, good.
um, in the order I wrote them down, I like Technic Cams, I like Bowrock Eyes, Slicer
Oh yeah,
Feet,
cool.
the Mixel sockets, which we went in great detail about earlier,
Oh
and
yeah.
the the greatest of them all, the axles with stoppers. Just
Yes.
any length of axles with stoppers is the greatest piece ever.
Mm.
I love those.
Mm-hmm.
Um, both to my benefit and detriment. I like to build my mocks like very secure and very stable, even if it kind of doesn't do the mock a lot of justice. If it falls, it's gonna stay together. So, and I love.
That's cool.
I mean,
That's
who
cool.
doesn't like using the ball joints, right? So those those axles
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
little stoppers that keep those ball joints in place. I love it. I love them so much. I will,
Mm.
again, to my detriment, sometimes it will throw off the colors of the mock just so it's like, well, at least the ball joint won't fall out.
Yeah. My friend had a um it was an axle
Okay.
piece. I think it was four wide,
Okay.
and it was white, but it had a spiral all around it, and then it had like a nut on it that you could twist, so you could
What?
essentially adjust the length of the axle. But it was still a four length axle, but like you could technically have it, one end be a one wide axle or two or three or
Huh.
couldn't really do four. And he showed me that like when I first met him. And he was like, I don't know where this is from, but it's really cool. And then he's like, I don't know how I'd ever use it, but I have it. Like if I ever need it, I've got it. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? Like this
Yeah,
is
I
insane.
have.
Like I've never seen this piece
Huh.
before. And like I've tried looking it up on Bricklink, and I just cannot find it. And like I don't know if it's like not actually Lego. Like it's really strong. It doesn't feel like a third party part,
That's
but
odd. Because I have a
yeah,
white four length axle, but it doesn't have any like that attachment.
yeah, yeah.
That's really weird.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, I have these.
If I can get a photo of it, I don't know when I'll put this up if I'll be able to or not, but if not, I'll post it on like Flickr and just be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
see what I can
crazy.
do.
I've never
Cause
heard
yeah,
of that.
yeah, yeah. But awesome. Yeah. I agree with you about Slicer feet. Definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at any of the versions of Jay-Z, and it's just like he's just littered with them. And it's just they have that.
Yeah. No.
I love that shape, but
Mm,
they're
mm,
not the cleanest piece, which kind of bugs me a bit. But I do like them.
definitely. And then what is one of your favorite Bionicle mocks that someone else has built?
All right, so I guess I should link this one to you.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's titled "The War Chief of Wintergarden."
Ooh.
Now let's see if I.
Oh, I might know what this is. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see if I guess right.
It's by a guy, and if I remember correctly, he goes by Shuby 4000 or Black Bolt Johnson, one of the two, maybe both.
I remember that name. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, he builds a lot of like heavy CCBS builds. They're very simple. I think even on his Instagram
Sweet.
it says something like "mock around the clock," simple builds with funny names. I think is what it says.
Ah, cool.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm just always impressed by like the things he makes because they're not really like, groundbreaking, but they're very like the colors are really good. There's always like I don't know, they always flow really well. I think.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm just looking through all his stuff now. You're definitely right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's his best. I don't know if I would call it my absolute favorite Bionicle mock, but I think it's one where the simplicity really goes a long way.
Yeah,
And
cool.
like I was saying earlier, he's got it in all these different like aggressive, powerful stances where it just like you just learn so much about the character through that. Um,
Yeah, that's cool.
and he's
Yeah.
used a really ugly mask in a really good way. So,
Yes, actually. Yeah, you're right.
um, but that mock, um, I like the use of the third party pieces, um, and I liked it so much it actually inspired one of my other mocks that I'll be posting later in 2018. Um, but yeah, I don't know if I'd call my favorite, but I really liked that one. Yes, it's the knockoff
Mm,
pieces. I love those hands. I want a pair of
yeah.
those.
I,
But
mm.
go ahead.
I was gonna say like I'm always really intrigued by those, but there's a small part of me that's like it's not Lego and go. But yeah, whenever I see them, I'm like, But I always assume they're going to be really bad quality, but everyone keeps saying they're not. So who
I think the
knows?
thing that's like really turned off a lot of people is you have to go through AliExpress to get them for like a good price, and it's not
Okay.
like the most dependable website from what I've heard.
Oh right. Okay.
Um, and then looking at them, I think you actually have to construct them sort of like kind of like those Gundam kit
Yes.
things.
Okay.
So they're they seem a little difficult to get together. I mean, I don't know. I've only built one Gundam kit, but
Yeah.
I'm afraid that if I got one, I'd break it before I finished constructing it.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I'm a little hesitant to get them, but I really like them. They're
Mm.
a- they're like I was saying, they're just so expressive. There's a lot you can tell about a character just through their hands, and
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely
I
right.
think a lot of that comes through with this mock.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's inspired a couple mocks that I've made, and I just really like it.
Yeah, totally agree with you. That's awesome. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
so cool. Yeah, I'm hoping that because I'm totally going to go to Brickfen, Virginia one day. Like that's on my list.
Hmm.
Hopefully when I go, someone's like selling some of those or has some because that'd be really really cool to have some.
Yeah, I know. It'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And final question: what is your favorite set? Now this can be Bionicle or system or both. I don't really mind. Um,
Okay.
but whatever comes to
Um.
mind.
Well, actually, I picked two. I picked my favorite
Sweet.
set that I own currently,
Oh yeah.
and favorite set that I don't own, and I wish I did. I was going through all the Bionicle sets that I have, and I'm thinking I have a lot of the Toa, and I don't have a lot of the big guys, and they're all the cool ones.
Yeah.
Um, but currently, of all the ones I own, I think my favorite is the Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. I got that at Brick Fair, and it was like one of the most labor-intensive builds I've had in a while, just
Mm.
because I just haven't gotten many Lego sets in a long time.
Yeah.
And so putting it together, it took me a while. It comes with two different instruction books,
Yeah. Sure.
so it's and I think the last set I had that required two instruction books was the '03 Makuta.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is another one of those sets that is like high up there for me, but mainly nostalgia.
Uh huh.
Um, the one set I wish I had, and I can never find it like anywhere in like a thrift store around me because Lego lasts all of 5 seconds. Um, I want the Balrag so much. You don't know how
Right.
much I want the Bow Queens.
Mm,
They're I like they just have this great shape for Technic lift
they
arms.
do.
Like
Mm.
they're like 90% Technic lift arms, and they just have this incredible shape to them. They look like these Asian water dragons, and they're just like, how did they do this with Technic lift arms?
Yes, yeah.
And it's I want that set. And what makes it even
And
worse
the
is that
oh
my mom once told me like, yeah, I saw that set a long time ago, and I almost got it for you.
oh
I want
no
that one, and I
oh
can't find
no
it anywhere. And like you look online, and it's like, oh yeah, you can get it. It's like $100, and it's just one of them. It's like,
no
no, why would I do that?
oh
So
damn
they're hard to find for
mm,
like a reasonable price. And like the ones that
yeah
do have both, it's like, oh, it's like missing a couple pieces somewhere, or like the pieces are damaged or something. It's like
yeah
I want to build
damn
it. I
yeah
want it, but I want to build it too. But if I want to do that, I gotta
yes
pay out the
exactly
ass, right?
yeah wow I mean even the actual functionality of the like pull the lever and then the neck extends in the mouth like that's one of the most fluid awesome functionality things on a set like
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
incredible. Yeah, I'd be up with you on that. Yeah, that's a good set. I want one.
yeah, I want them.
I missed so much of the original Rahi,
Yeah,
or I guess that's not an original Rahi, but like the early Rahi stuff.
yeah, the '01
Um,
Rahi.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
my
yeah,
first Bionicle was a Nuvok Call, so I never had them, but
uh huh,
I want a Tarakava.
yeah. Wow, I need to like backtrack and buy heaps of them. I know they would be so expensive, but
Hmm.
be worth it. One thing I recommend. It's very popular in Australia because we just don't have the same like America is huge,
Yeah.
so you guys can get stuff a bit more easily than we can. But
Hmm.
one thing I recommend is buy and sell pages on Facebook. Like
Okay.
literally just Google Lego buy and sell in wherever you live,
Okay.
or even just Lego buy and sell in general,
Okay.
or for like USA or for whatever.
Hmm.
And people put up a lot of stuff there and sell stuff, and some of them are just like people like little kids' mums who are like, my son doesn't want his Lego anymore. I don't know how much this is worth. I'll sell it, and then you get like $100 worth of Lego, like hell cheap.
Hmm. Oh,
I
okay.
have noticed because the ones that I do for where I'm from,
Hmm.
like I said, because it's Australia and things aren't as easy to find, things sell a bit more easily, and people are after stuff that's in a different way. Whereas when I was in Chicago just now, and I joined their pages because I was there for a little bit and was buying a bunch of Lego and
Mm-hmm.
wanted to see if I could sell some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted stuff in different ways. Like for example, I bought a bulk lot off of my friend
Oh,
and was
cool.
trying to sell some of that, and I had a UCS Vader's Tie Fighter, which I put up
Mm-hmm.
for a decent, like lower, like $100 cheaper than what Bricklink was saying,
Mm-hmm.
and no one cared. I
Mm-hmm.
put it up for like a month, no one cared. Then when I came back to Perth with it, I put it up, and within seconds it sold. And then as soon as it sold, like three other people were like, "Do you still have that? I want it."
Nice.
Um, yeah. So people are after different stuff. And like for example, Harry Potter here sells instantly, and then on the Chicago page, like there was like month-old Harry Potter still on there.
Hmm. All right. Thanks. I'll keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
and like for example, I've seen Bionicle on those pages before, and like I just didn't want it, but it was essentially three people commented like Bionicle is a heathen only system, yeah. So like no one wants the Bionicle, so you swoop in.
Oh, nice. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Was okay. I don't remember. Was it your podcast or was it Brendan's where you mentioned you found a Technic Droidica at a thrift store or something similar to
Yes,
that?
yeah. That was me. I think that was Brendan's podcast. But that was me who said that. Yeah.
Okay.
I was at a Goodwill for that.
Yeah, I hate you.
Um, and I didn't pick it up, and it was $40, and I should have because that's a great price.
You
I
you
regret it.
passed on the Technic Star Wars sets.
I know. I don't know what I was thinking.
Uh,
Well, because that was the
don't
thing. I
tell me
literally
that.
went on Bricklink and was like, "How much is this?" And it was $40, and I was like, nah. And then I come
Yeah.
back, and it's like 100 Australian, which is like maybe like
Mm.
80, 90 American. I was like, what?
Ugh,
Yeah, yeah.
that sucks.
That said, though, because I saw I saw one of your posts on, I think it was on Flickr, where you were like, finds Bionicle in Goodwill, but it's Gully Mystica.
It's Cali
Um,
Mystica. That's the most
yeah.
recent Bionicle I found at Goodwill. I got it, mind
Wow.
you, but
Yes. Yeah.
it was Gali Mystica.
Yeah. Wow.
And
But
I finally
I keep seeing
understand.
people's. No, go on.
I finally understand why people don't like that set. It's butt ugly.
Yeah, it is. Um, but what I was going to say was I keep seeing people, like even Brendan says that, like if you find Lego in Goodwill, like I don't know how you did it because that stuff disappears so
Hmm.
quickly. But I was in America for a month and I found heaps of Lego at Goodwills. But that being said, I went to like 20.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, there's not a ton of
um,
thrift stores near me. There's a bunch, but not like
okay,
enough that I could just keep
not
going
near
all
you.
day and hope that there's a Lego
Right,
set.
right. But see, like because I was on holiday there, like, and a lot of the stuff that I wanted to, a lot of the, because I used to live there, so a lot of the places I went to was like anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour drive. And majority of the time on the way to that stuff, there was Goodwills within the
Mm-hmm.
vicinity. Um, so if you live in Chicago and you're listening to this, don't, because my dad still buys stuff for me from there, and so don't steal stuff from me. But definitely go look at it because I think Chicago's a pretty good place for Goodwill buying if you were keen to do that. And I recommend doing it because you can get some really good prices.
Mm-hmm. Or you can get Mystica Gali.
Or you can get Mystica Gully. Exactly. And that's it for my
All right.
questions. Yeah, that's all five. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if people want to find you online, Mister Mitch Henry, where can they find you?
Well, I have. Let's see. I'm on mock pages, but I don't post. I'm
Hmm.
on Flickr, just my normal name, Mitch Henry. Um,
Cool.
I think at the moment it's a Doom Imp for my profile picture, but it's probably going to change soon. I'm on Instagram.
Sweet.
It's Mitch Henry CZQ. That'd be the C Z and Q, all one word, all caps. Um,
Uh huh.
and this is going to date the video. I just set up an account with an app called Brickstar.
Ah, yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. People are kind of hyping up as a replacement to Brickley, even though it's been around since before Brickley. But we'll see how that goes.
Oh wow.
Um,
Yep.
and I think I'm just CZQ on that one. But
Okay.
so
Cool.
far, those are the Flickr, Instagram, and uh, Brickstar. It's called. I think those are my three. So.
Sweet. I haven't joined that Brickster yet. It's interesting because when Brickley came out, I was like, oh, cool, and I just didn't use it. I don't know what was making me not want to use it, but I was just like, I don't know.
Hmm.
And like, I don't think it's dead, isn't it? Is it still going?
Uh,
Like, because you said as a replacement.
well, Brickley got bought out by the people who own Bricklink, so
Yes, that's right.
it's kind of becoming like a thing for like third party bricks. So like Soho
Okay.
something I think it's called. So
Oh,
we'll
okay.
see what the future of Brickley is, but the original Brickley team has left. That's all I know.
Okay. Well, I mean, as long as that doesn't change too much.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, I just never really post on there. But I'm not against it. Like, I think Brickley's cool. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Hmm.
But need to get back into the swing of that.
Hmm.
But yeah, cool, awesome. I'll put links in the description to all the stuff you just
All right,
said.
thanks. Because I
And
did not explain
yeah.
that well.
Yeah, so be sure to check that out, and also be sure to check out the description for links to the mocks that I showed in this episode, or that we
Hmm.
showed in this episode, and check out the other stuff that they've built, specifically Mitch, because he's the
Aw,
guest. I guess that's
yeah.
it.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
I don't know who the next guest will be, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, no, it was awesome having you. Thanks, man. It was great. It was great to talk about mock pages again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun times.
Yeah. But yeah, happy to have you on again. But I
Thank you.
guess that's it for now. So
All right,
yeah, thanks guys.
see you.